Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University, and Infinity Countdown, issue number 4. Um, okay. Beautiful cover. You see Galactus the Lifebringer? Don't get used to him. So, there's going to be massive spoilers in this because I don't know how else to really explain what happens in here because it's a heck of a doozy. There's the little thing in the beginning with the dwarf and whatever he was building and the other guy, and he gets pimp slapped, possibly to death. I don't know. Like, this is really confusing. I don't know what the heck is going on here. I want to know what this guy is in the beginning. Anyhow, so if I remember correctly, the reality gem is already in this universe. I read the Captain Marvel Infinity Countdown, and she's got the reality gem, but the Grandmaster and the Collector show up, and they've got their own version of the reality gem, but it's a different one. It's not working in this universe. You know, the reality gems that don't belong to this universe don't actually function. So, what do you call it? Peter Quill gets called in to have with Cosmo to have a conversation with these two elders of the universe. And it's like, hey, it's not working. What's going on? It's like, oh, no, I don't get it. All of a sudden, Phyla-Vell just suddenly shows up with Moondragon. This was posted by CB Cebulski online on Twitter. And I commented, yeah, I think that's Moondragon. Who's the other one? I couldn't really tell so well. It's the art. I'm like, is that Malekith? Is that freaking, what do you call it? Maelstrom. Remember Maelstrom? It's like I couldn't tell. Like, I was being genuine. I couldn't tell. I didn't get a response from almost anybody, directly. I kept getting private messages from people like, dude, that's Phyla-Vell and Moondragon. I was like, so I was right on Moondragon. Okay, Phyla-Vell. Okay, cool. That's cool. And some people tell me like, dude, they're actually in a lesbian relationship. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Dude, I can't know everybody. Come on, man. Like, I read comic books. I don't read all the comic books, all right? Come on. So I genuinely didn't know. I wasn't trying to be a jerk. It's so funny, man. Like, there's so many people who are toxic on Twitter that a genuine person comes along and asks an honest question, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, F this guy, man. He's just being a jerk. No, I'm not. I really didn't know. So people were telling me like, oh, she's not actually. One person actually responded to me in like publicly. I was like, oh yeah, they're in a bisexual relationship. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that because the last time I remember reading Moondragon, she was pining after Quasar. So like that was a long time ago when Quasar actually had his own comic book. Excuse me. Anyway, no, that's cool. That's cool. So those Moondragon is bisexual. Phyla-Vell is bi or lesbian. None of it actually makes a difference. I don't care. Cool. Cool. It's nice to see these two, but they're not even from this reality. They're from a different dimension. So, okay, interesting. I didn't really like how that transpired. I guess it's just like a quick little nod, like, hey, they exist in other realities. Cool. I figured they would. Anyway, they get summoned back, and there's a hint there. They're looking for someone. They're looking for somebody special. I should probably find the name in here. They're looking for Requiem. Scan their minds before we leave. Let's see if we can learn who Requiem is. I already did. They know nothing. So then they just disappear. Okay, cool. Cool enough. Yeah, this was the actual scene that was released on Twitter. I was like, I don't know. Like, is this Malekith? Is this, what's his name? I just said it before. Maelstrom. Again, Quasar, right? Quasar's in my head. It's one of my favorite comic books when I was growing up. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I didn't see the sword. The sword would have given it away that it was definitely Phyla-Vell. Anyway, cool, man. Cool. No complaints. Let's see. The big thing is actually the Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock versus Ultron. And Galactus initially says no. If you remember from the previous issue, Surfer says, hey, man, I need you to come and destroy this planet, consume this planet. I know you don't do that anymore, but I need you to do it anyway. Because bad guys and missiles and stuff. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. And then he comes and he does it anyway. Now, what's interesting, and it's kind of cool, because like he shows up and he's totally awesome. It's like, oh, that's just an absolutely awesome pick right there, right? And then all of a sudden, you notice the change in colors? Like, look, he's gold over here, but over here he's purple. He's decisively purple. The gold is leaving. Yeah, and you see like his eye. Yeah. So basically, the Lifebringer is gone and the Devourer has returned. I don't know exactly what happens to Ultron. It looks like Ultron potentially gets destroyed, but there's like some kind of rock in front of him, so maybe he gets saved at the very last minute. But either way, yeah, he's jacked up, and I'm gonna reveal it just because the Lifebringer is gone. Galactus, the Devourer, is back, and it's an interesting last page reveal. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to show it anyway, just because it's so beautiful. Like, the comic book isn't drawn very well, in my opinion, but it's just my particular taste on the art. But this, I always love this kind of a scene when you draw Galactus with his hand exposed and there's the surfer inside bowing. You know, it's like he's going to be the herald of Galactus again and go out and search for worlds for him to destroy. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful picture. Like, this is just gorgeous, man. Like, all the art was saved for this last page. It's like a heavy CGI laden movie where like you could tell where they saved all of the CGI, like especially the sci-fi movies. You could tell where all the CGI budget went to for the movie. Didn't go to it didn't go to the cast, it didn't go to the crew, it didn't go to the actors, it didn't go to anybody, man. It went straight to this one big chunk of a scene in the movie. But that's the cinematic money shot. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this was... So the whole comic was just basically to show that Galactus himself is back. This is interesting since we just had... It was actually last year, but it was recently last year. You know what I'm saying? It was only like maybe 5, 6... It had been like maybe 8 months ago, whatever. It was less than a year ago, while still being in the previous 2017, that people were talking about, oh yeah, you can't bring, like, the only thing you can really do to change Galactus at this point is to move him back to being, you know, the Devourer. But why would anybody want to do that? And Jerry Duggan comes along and says, huh. Duggan is a fantastic writer. So if he did this, then I trust that he's got a great reason to do it. Not a good reason, a great reason to do it. It might just be because somebody told him to. It might be because Cebulski said, hey, you know what I need you to do? Because he's got plans in the future for something. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I honestly don't. But yeah, that was interesting. And this is one of those seminal issues that you kind of need. I don't know, maybe you might think you don't need it in the collection. In my opinion, you kind of need this in the collection. Like, you need the one where Galactus becomes a Lifebringer. Now that's almost rendered moot because he hasn't been the Lifebringer for that long. I mean, I expect him to be the Lifebringer for at least a decade. Like, minimum of a decade. And they're just like, yeah, no, Galactus is no fun if he's not eating planets. I hope that they've got a really, I mean, seriously, dude, it's got to be an amazing reason to bring him back to the Devourer so soon. But I'll leave it in their hands. Let's see. Right now, I'm impressed. Beautiful art. It was a cool way of doing it, I guess. But I just feel like it was too soon. We'll see. If they have a cool story that's going to shock and amaze me and leave me in awe, then I'll eat my words. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's what actually happens in here. It's kind of an important issue for that reason alone. Other than that, the Nova Corps is all like, hey, Guardians, give us that gem. Too many Nova people died. Sorry, I was in the military for 6 years, U.S. Army infantry, and I know when people say, hey, too many grunts died for people dying doesn't actually mean that you're entitled to anything. Sorry, it's not actually the way that it works. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter how many Nova Corpsmen died. That's completely irrelevant. That's an emotional case, and they were getting emotional. And I was kind of hoping that Gamora was just going to lay waste into these guys. All she did was cut one of the people's guns with her sword, which is like, yes, most dangerous woman in the galaxy. I want to see it. She said it. I want to see her cut loose on these guys, because they point out it was only a couple of issues ago that the Nova Corps were just, they're filled, they still are filled with thieves, scoundrels, just, they're like the Suicide Squad or the Thunderbolts of the original Nova Corps. You know what I'm saying? They're not the real Nova Corps anymore. But More than that, they just had like their enemies just infiltrated them. The Guardians themselves are the ones that came in and fixed everything. So I was like, yeah, I think you kind of owe them a little bit of slack, even though they are the a-holes of the universe. Come on. Still, it was a bit much. It was a bit much. So a lot did happen in this book. I think this was a 32 issue book, 32 page book. I'm not sure because it is thick. There was a lot in here, but I don't know, whatever. Anyway, all in all, it was a good book. I enjoyed it. The art wasn't terrible, but it's not my cup of tea. It's one of those things where I look at it, I'm used to seeing the Guardians drawn like this, and I'm thinking to myself, but I don't know, it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.